Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're literally stripping away the guesswork from the Kavala short-term rental market. We hear the same questions all the time. Are you still profitable? Which platform actually works best? Well, we aren't here to give you generic advice today. We're answering those exact questions with undeniable, hard data from the 2025 to 2026 seasons.
Okay, let's be totally honest for a second. Are you basing your property management and pricing on actual local facts, or are you just kind of copying your neighbor? Relying on gut feelings or whatever people are saying in Facebook groups is a critical mistake. If you really want to maximize your revenue, you have to trade that passive guessing for active, data-driven management.
And listen, we aren't just making educated guesses here. We're looking at a staggering 838 real booking events spanning 29 professionally managed properties right here in Kavala. Every single one of these reservations represents a real guest making a real financial decision in this exact market. Because think about it, a sunny beachfront villa in Greece behaves completely differently than a rainy apartment in London, right? That is exactly why local operational data beats generic industry reports every single time. If you try applying a big city strategy to a Mediterranean coastal town, it won't just fail, it's going to actively harm your occupancy. Section 1. Platform and pricing truths, shattering the biggest assumptions in short-term rentals.
Now, this is wild. Look at the absolute dominance of Booking.com here. It's driving nearly 70% of the revenue. If you're a host who's relying solely on Airbnb's brand name, you are missing out big time, considering it only brought in about 11% for this portfolio. The reality is, different channels attract different travelers. Hiding from Booking.com means you're literally hiding from your biggest potential revenue stream in this region.
And if you're sitting there thinking discounting is the only way to fill those empty calendar dates, well, think again. Year over year, these properties saw massive 60% plus growth in bookings while actually increasing their average daily rate. Slashing your prices is usually just a quick band-aid for a poorly optimized listing. This perfectly echoes what local expert John Tekeritas points out. Sustainable revenue growth comes from professional optimization, not from panic-induced price drops. The properties that completely crushed it didn't just slash prices. They paired stellar photography with dynamic pricing to find exactly what a guest was willing to pay at any given moment. Section 2. Who is actually booking? Redefining the Kavala guest profile. So, Kavala is this thriving international hub. The vast majority of guests are actually driving in from neighboring Balkan countries, places like Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey. Domestic Greek tourism only makes up about 10%. Why does this matter to you? Well, knowing your guests are arriving by car means you absolutely need to put parking information front and center on your listing to instantly capture their attention. And because these international visitors are making that drive down, they aren't just popping in for a quick weekend escape. The average stay is remarkably stable at about 5.5 nights. So if you've been building your entire strategy around 2-night weekenders, you are completely misaligned with the natural rhythm of this market. This operational advantage is absolutely huge for you. Fewer check-ins mean fewer cleanings, way less wear and tear, and just a much smoother workflow overall. During the peak summer rush, you should set longer minimum stays to protect your calendar and, quite frankly, your sanity. And in the shoulder seasons, that's when you open up that flexibility to capture every last bit of demand. Moving on to Section 3, rethinking the booking calendar, adapting to seasonality and shrinking booking windows. Obviously, July and August are undeniably the peak months, but September? September remains a shockingly strong hidden goldmine for guests who just want milder weather and quieter beaches. Yet so many owners mentally shut down their season the minute August ends, and they leave thousands of euros on the table. Treat September with the exact same proactive marketing as July and watch your revenue window expand. Now here's a really interesting shift in traveler habits. The average booking window has shrunk to just under 44 days before arrival. Thanks to better comparison tools and much more flexible cancellation policies, guests just don't feel that pressure to lock in their summer rental way back in January anymore. So what does that mean for you? If your calendar looks a bit empty a month out, do not panic and definitely don't slash your prices. You have to treat your pricing as this dynamic living organism that reacts to late demand. Setting your rates in March and just ignoring them is a guaranteed recipe for lost revenue. Professional management means reviewing your pace, checking what local events are happening, and holding your nerve as that 44-day window approaches. Finally, Section 4, winning the rental market, from passive hosting to proactive revenue management. The data paints a crystal clear picture here. There is literally no such thing as an average property. Homes on the exact same street perform drastically differently. You could have a stunning beachfront villa, but if your photos are dark and your pricing is static all season, a well-managed apartment 3 blocks inland is going to beat you, hands down. Location just gets you to the starting line. Proactive management is what actually wins the race. So, to really become a top performer, you have to internalize these core principles. Smart strategy beats expensive renovations every time. You don't always need to build a brand new pool. Simply clarifying your listing description, responding instantly to your guests, and adjusting your rates daily based on demand, that's what yields a massive return on investment. Let the hard evidence, not your intuition, dictate your moves. Ultimately, before you hit accept on that next booking, I want you to ask yourself this. Are you just trying to fill empty dates, or are you actually maximizing the value of every single night? Transitioning from passive guesswork to dynamic, data-driven management changes absolutely everything. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there, leverage this data, and dominate your market.